No, yeah.
An error. Okay.
This says we're live.
Oh, we're live somewhere.
Are you live?
Uh,
I have live. I see like a number saying live.
we are live apparently.
Are we live?
But I don't think we're live everywhere. So now we're like, where did we go live to? We didn't go live to Facebook. We only went live to YouTube.
Are you sure it has a check mark on Facebook that's saying that we're live?
What?
Yeah.
Up at the top it says we're
Up
not.
at the top. Yeah, and on mine it says.
I'm so confused.
This wasn't supposed to be like a pro show comedy thing. This was like a real deal. Hello, everybody. Hey, give us on the comments. Let us know where you're watching us from. If you're watching us from YouTube or if you're watching us from Facebook, because
something happened. Something went weird.
Something weird. So, I mean, I think we're good. I think we're fine. But
I think we didn't go live on Twitch.
Oh, that's okay. Well, it shows Twitch. It's live over here.
What?
Yeah.
View on Twitch. I'm going to check on Twitch.
Yeah, it's Twitch. Yeah.
Twitch.
Well, good. Twitch.
We are.
We're on Twitch. We're on YouTube. We're on the big channels. We're here. We're on ABC, NBC, and CBS. I mean, we've got it all. Yes. We're on. Yes.
That is so weird. Okay.
Yes.
Well.
I think
all
it's
right.
time to
well,
start.
We're live.
Well, let's start the show.
It's a Something About Something podcast with your host, Mr. Mike Schilling.
And there's no song in the background. My good friend Ricky Poe.
You couldn't hear that?
I couldn't hear that.
Oh, it was so loud.
I could not hear it.
Something wicked. Yes, Todd, something wicked is coming. I don't know what is going on.
Yeah.
There is so much. This is so screwed up right now. I don't know if we should stop and start over.
I don't know.
Or I don't. I have no idea.
Well, let me see something real quick. Yeah, I'm not hearing anything.
You didn't hear that?
Did you hear that? Huh?
I did, yes.
Yeah, I didn't hear it, but that's okay.
Todd says he had music.
He had music?
So if you're watching us, hey, Parson. Hey.
Hello there from YouTube land. Yes.
Good to have you tonight.
Thank you.
No Facebook. Oh, you don't have Facebook. Well, it's
That's
good
fine.
to have you. That's
good
fine.
to have you. We're good. We were just having some little technical difficulties and we're trying to figure it out. So
we don't always have technical difficulties.
But when we do. Okay, drink break. There we go.
When we do, it is a disaster.
That's right. Well, apparently
Hey, it's Lom.
Hey, Lom. Hello, Lom.
Is it Lom? Laman? I want to know how to pronounce your name, man. I want to make sure. Hey, Steven. Good to have you.
Good.
You had the music. Awesome.
It's just me then. It's all good.
I'm so sorry, man.
No, it's okay. I mean,
can you hear me when I started talking?
Yeah.
Over the music?
You. Yeah.
Go bigger. Absolutely, Todd.
That's right. We're gonna go big.
We're
gonna go big. We're just gonna do this thing. We'll just do it. So anyway. Tonight
I have forgotten what we're supposed to be doing first now.
Well, tonight we're going to talk about WandaVision, the trailer, break it down, see how it's going to affect the MCU universe, some guests and stuff like that.
I'm excited about this show, and I'm excited about that show. Yes.
So we're going to talk about that tonight. We got some stupid news. We've got, we're going to have a little Nick Fury, just a little bit. And set us up for the next week's show. Hey, Vance.
Hey, Vance. Good to have you, man.
And
we do have something else special, but we're not going to show it quite yet.
No, we're not.
Are we going to do it after Stupid News or before Stupid News?
You know what? I think we should do it. Want to do it before?
Let's do it before Stupid News.
Okay, let's do that.
So, all right. So, really quick, we're going to blow through a couple things really fast. If you didn't know this, you need to know. If you are a nerd, a geek, if you are a Star Wars fan, even in passing, you need to know about this. Star Wars, The Empire Strikes Back, Episode 5, is in theaters right now.
That's right. Put your mask on, head down there.
If you can do it, you need to go see it. Here's the deal. You and your secrets. Exactly, Vance.
Mm-hmm.
We want to build some anticipation.
Yes,
building anticipation.
Yeah.
So anyway, Empire Strikes Back is in theaters, re-release, and here's what I think's happening, because a lot of the movies in our local theater are re-releases. Here's what I think's happening.
Yeah.
There's just simply nothing to put on the screens. So they're pulling out anything they can get somebody to give them.
Yeah.
Now, here's why I say that. Because Star Wars, hey, I'm late. You're late.
You didn't miss anything.
You missed the disaster is what you missed.
Yes, you did. Yes.
Okay, so Empire Strikes Back, live in theaters right now. This weekend, it came in 4th this weekend. Isn't that amazing, Mike?
That's amazing.
It came in 4th for a remake that I didn't even know was coming to theaters.
How much did they make?
They didn't make $1 million.
They didn't.
Rob says they had it there 2 weeks ago. No, awesome. Hey, that is insane. It was in 2,000 theaters this week. They didn't break $1 million. Oh, Jason, you don't want to watch it. It was literally a technical nightmare. We just had problems.
I mean, Ricky's hair was on fire. I had, for some reason, I felt like I had all these crawly things. I had my shirt off, running around
Dogs
the room.
and cats living together. Mass hysteria.
Yes.
Anyway, so $1 million. Number one movie, Tenet, only made $3 million this weekend. What that means in 2,800 theaters, they made $3 million. What that means is, you go to the movie theaters this weekend, you are going to be alone, brother. Ain't no worrying about social distancing. There ain't going to be anybody
there.
It'll be like that night that you and I went to see. What movie did we go see?
We went to Rise of the Skywalker.
Oh, yeah. Rise of the Skywalker. And it was you and me and some guy behind us. And there was nobody else in the theater.
It was what was it, midnight? Or it was
midnight on what, New Year's Eve or something
like that, yeah.
But man.
Hey, Todd's
didn't flash us, thank goodness.
Yeah,
I deleted that photo.
Yeah, he deleted it.
That was the first photo I remember. I went up to you guys don't know what our system looks like, but it was at the top and at the bottom, and I deleted both first.
I was real tempted to upload it earlier, but that's okay.
But definitely, theaters are empty, man. They are open, but they are empty.
I tell you, and that's interesting because it makes you kind of wonder if they're going to rethink the way they release movies.
I don't know. They
talked. Yeah, they talked about Mulan. Mulan.
Did we talk? Okay, I know you and I talked about. They pushed back Black Widow. Did we talk about that on the show? And some of the reasons some people think they delayed it is because Mulan did not do well on the pay-per-view.
Well, now Disney didn't give any figures on that, did they?
Nope. And you'll never hear them.
Now, if they did do really well, you're going to hear about it.
Lom jumped back over onto Facebook.
Hey, Lom. That's funny. Yeah, well, I'm sure Disney, if they made a lot of money, they would have been a press release on that. So
there would have been a press release.
Yeah,
they still wouldn't have given numbers, but they would have said it did really well, and Black Widow would have opened.
Yeah.
Now speaking of Black Widow, this is kind of an odd thing. I just read this. Somebody said I was reading. This is totally this is a theory. There's no proof. Nobody is actually saying this, but
that's much of our news, so it's okay.
There's rumor that one of the reasons that since Black Widow was moved back, is one of the other reasons that we're talking about tonight, WandaVision, is probably going to release before before Falcon and Winter Soldier,
Yeah.
because Falcon and Winter Soldier might have spoilers for the Black Widow movie.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff going in the MCU universe, and
Yes.
and some of the stuff we're going to talk about tonight, we're going to have to be really sensitive because there's a lot of tie-ins, and if you
Yep.
haven't seen certain movies, if you haven't seen certain things, then
So-
stuff you probably should already seen if you're a Marvel fan. But there is some things if you haven't seen certain movies or seen certain end of some shows,
Yep.
So anyway, just heads up on that.
Yeah, Todd, I don't know if it was a test. It's a 40th anniversary, apparently, of the movie. And so that was kind of a thing. Hey,
Hello,
Terry, good
Terry.
to have you. So shall we go ahead and show them one of the new videos?
Yeah, let's go
that
ahead.
you can't hear. So
Yeah,
this
go
is
ahead.
just before we start everything else. I
Yeah.
love that new video.
You love that?
That's your spoiler alert.
Yes.
The rest of the show could contain spoilers of something that you have not watched yet.
That's right. That's right.
So that was The Empire Strikes Back. Okay, we got the other thing. We're gonna save it for right before.
Okay.
But right before weird news, was there something else? I'm telling you, we got so screwed up at the beginning of the show, I forgot the order.
Well, I think we're going to...
Is it time for our update?
Yes, it's for
time
the update. Yes, it's time
All
for
right.
the update.
It's time for an update.
Yeah.
That's right. It's a Tiger King update.
And all I saw was a mouth open. I don't know, but everybody heard the roar. That's great. What's funny about that video, he was actually yawning, and it was the only video I could find where a tiger was opening up his mouth. So he's actually yawning.
Can the podcast wife hear the sound?
Yeah, that's the only way I can hear it when she has it up.
It's so strange.
I know.
Full moon
at the end of the month, and Wednesday. Yes. Thank you,
Yeah.
sir. Yes.
Hey, somebody's
Hey.
watching us on Twitch. Good to have
Hey.
you, whoever is out there watching us on Twitch.
We love you. Stay.
I'm glad you found us.
Yes.
Let us know who you are, where you're watching from.
Exactly.
So we have a Tiger King update.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
And what do you want to say about this?
Well, you sent me the video the other night, and I could right before I went to bed, and I could not get it out of my head. I just give an example. Here we go, right here.
I'm sorry, I can't. I just can't.
Oh,
You know, you cool cats and kittens.
oh, and if that wasn't enough, there you go. There's a little love right there. Apparently, she got, I can't believe it, but she got eliminated this go around Dancing with the Stars, which
Yes.
I can't believe that. That's nice. A little parlay there.
Dancing to the Lion King theme song.
And then the previous one of Ricky's favorite from Tom Jones, What's Up, Pussycat?
What's up, pussycat? Whoa! Yeah, and on that one they were, they were dressed up pretty weird on that one as well.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, apparently I was reading. Let's see
So
here.
bad.
Well, if that's not worse enough, apparently she is.
Lom can't unsee that. Exactly, Lom.
That's what I said. Yeah, exactly. Hey, at least he didn't send it to you before you went to bed. But apparently she's working on another reality show.
Lomoan.
My wife just said Lomon.
Lomon. Okay.
Lomon.
Lomon. I'm going to work on that, Lomon.
Yeah, I had to check with the Tiffany, the podcast wife, to get the translation down. She
Thank everybody. Say thank you to Tiffany, the podcast wife. She's the one that makes all of your comments show up on our screen.
That's right.
If
She's
it was
the
not for her, we would never know what you were saying right now.
Exactly. So only one life on the Dancing with the Stars. Oh,
She got 3 shots. She danced 3 times, then got kicked
yeah,
off.
she did. Let's see here. Yeah, What's Up? Yes, she did the Vienna Waltz to What's Up, Pussycat.
It was so bad.
And also did the Pesos to Eye of the Tiger.
Yes.
Yeah, remember that one? Yeah.
Oh, that one was psychedelic colors. It
Yeah.
was so crazy.
Yeah.
She had pink tiger print. Ugh. So crazy.
Yeah, but you were talking about earlier about
the new documentary.
Yeah.
So if you are a huge Tiger King fan, and if you don't know us yet, you will get to know us. We live about Mike, an hour and a half north.
Yeah.
We live about an hour and a half north of where most of the Tiger King documentary took place.
We're proud of that. We just lost somebody. Let's make a retraction of that.
So every time anything new with Tiger King comes up, we at least mention it. If you have Investigation Discovery, there is a new Tiger King documentary that's out on Investigation Discovery. You can watch it on there on demand. The first episode played Sunday, and second episode's supposed to play this Sunday night, I think. And the first episode was all about Carol Baskin, and it was all about whether she killed her husband. And it is not the Tiger King documentary that we saw on Netflix. This is an Investigation Discovery kind of documentary.
Yeah, it was interesting during the Dancing with the Stars on her debut.
Yeah.
The Lewis family actually bought commercial time, and the Lewis daughter, his attorney,
serious?
Yes, his attorney, his former assistant, was asking for help in finding out more about the millionaire's disappearance. This is the funny part. Days later, Baskin told TMC that she thought the commercial was wonderful.
Oh, gosh.
Despite the fact that people have pointed to her, claiming that she had something to do with it back in 1997.
Oh, my
so
goodness.
Imagine that.
That's so crazy.
Isn't that something?
If you fought for that, ladies and gentlemen, you're worse than a bunch of nuts in a squirrel tree.
Thank you, Joe. So, yeah.
We do have one more picture, though, right?
This one, I think Todd chime in.
Our Florida correspondent.
Yes, I think he put that on. I'm not for sure.
I'll put it up real quick.
Yeah, go ahead and pop that up.
We thought this was pretty funny when we saw it.
Yeah, somebody basically, they painted a cow to look like a tiger, and they dressed up like Joe Exotic. Oh man.
Yeah, I think this is brilliant. That's the kind of humor I need in my life.
Yes, unless you're the cow.
Looks like they just spray painted the cow.
Yeah, it doesn't look like the cow cares minds. The tiger can. Yes.
Oh, they are all available on YouTube, my friend. Available on YouTube.
I mean, the thing is, anything is a train wreck when you talk about Joe Exotic, the Tiger King.
Yeah,
I mean,
Carol Baskin. It's just gonna. Yeah,
it just spirals down.
So let's do some stupid news.
Yeah, let's kick that off. Go ahead and do that. I can't hear it, but go ahead and do it anyhow.
This is the stupid news with your host, Mr. Mike Schilling.
What was that? I mean, that was the only thing I could hear, so that was nice. Almost had a little music there. I like that.
Yeah, I didn't hold it out quite as long as I did
okay.
last time. Last time I held it out like past the video playing.
But heads up to our good friend Todd Vesey. This is the Florida man right here. The Florida man robs a Wendy's. Apparently a modern-day hamburglar, they said. He was caught on camera making himself a burger while allegedly burglarizing a Florida Wendy's. Patrick Benson, 34, was arrested in July by the Martin County Sheriff's Office after security cameras at the Jensen Beach food fast food location appeared to catch him cooking up a burger before walking out of the store safe. According to the release from the sheriff's office, Benson gained access to the restaurant by breaking the window of a Wendy's using a brick or a large rock after the location closed that night. Apparently, Benson went back to the restaurant, fired up the grill, and made himself a hamburger. Once he was finished eating, and he actually ate it there, he grabbed the restaurant safe and left. So, hey, he has his priorities.
There's that.
Yes.
The
Wasn't all stupid. We wanted to try to split it up.
No, that was a Tiger King update.
Yeah, that was a Tiger King. Next on the news, and this is a...
No, Vance Todd.
No. Lady Fever Grill.
Oh my goodness.
Man.
All right, what else we got on stupid news?
I don't know. This is falling apart quickly.
What's new? What's new, Pussycat?
Pussycat.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
I'll
that's
stop.
Okay, that's all right. Sheriff deputies in Louisiana are searching for a person who robbed a pharmacy at gunpoint
Okay.
in a chipmunk outfit.
What? Wait, what?
In a chipmunk outfit. You know, like Alvin and the Chipmunks?
Chipmunk outfit.
Yes.
Really? I robbed a bank in a chipmunk outfit.
Apparently, surveillance video showed an armed suspect in a chipmunk outfit running from the store's parking lot to the store's back door while forcing an employee back inside.
The tail. Oh my gosh, the tail.
Once inside, the suspect walked the employee through the store at gunpoint as she filled the bag with narcotics. After getting the medicine, the suspect walked out of the back door of the store and ran towards a nearby apartment complex. Now, the sheriff tells us the robber wasn't that bad. He took the victim's cell phone, and when she told him she had pictures of her grandkids on the phone, he gave it back to her in the SIM card. So that was nice. But at this,
Okay.
So he handed. So that was kind of nice
So
of
he
him.
handed it. That's
that was kind of, I guess, for a robber. I think the investigation is still active and going on. So if anyone has information about a chipmunk out there, please contact the local sheriff's department. So
Can I just say, this guy needs about a size, like 3 sizes larger.
yes,
Like this thing, like look, it's not even going all the way down his arms. He's high watering on his pants.
I don't think he was going to a costume contest, but I think if he did,
if you're gonna do it, you got to do it right.
Well, that's
but
true.
That chipmunk tail is killing me though. That little bitty tail on that big old guy.
Now this next one is going to gross you out. It's
What is new?
I
Stupid
know.
news always grosses me out at some point. So I'm expecting we're going to have bodily fluids now.
of course, that's right.
Yes, he had a high-pitched voice. He was a chipmunk.
A California man is facing charges after he was caught doing something bizarre at home in Salines early Saturday morning.
In his home?
No, at a home.
Oh, at a home, not his
Not
home.
specifically his home. No, Roberto Ariel, 33, was caught on surveillance video licking a homeowner's intercom system for hours.
Wait, what?
Yes. He was...
Ew.
Yes.
Ew.
Yes. The homeowner, Sylvia
I think
Duggan.
this picture is more disturbing than this picture.
Yes, I know. Yeah. And he actually looks back to make sure they can. I mean, the whole time he's looking to make sure that. There you go. Yes. I don't.
No words. I have no words. I just, as bizarre as some stupid news has been in my life, I just have no words.
The homeowner, Sylvia Duggan, told the local news that she was out of town at the time of the licking, but that her children were at home. They were notified by the surveillance system when it detected movement near the front door. Can you imagine?
Hey, Rob.
Can you imagine having that let you know that someone's at the front door and you look and there's somebody licking the intercom. Can you imagine that? Authorities said that authorities said they recognized Herrero from the footage, and he's now facing a misdemeanor charges of prowling in violation of probation. He's also
he was on probation.
Yes, he's also facing charges of theft after police accused him of stealing Christmas lights extension cords at a nearby home. So,
just the extension cords.
Yeah, that's it.
Not the lights.
I don't know what he was going to do with it, but that is stupid news.
Man, that is some stupid news.
Yeah.
This has been the Stupid News with your host, Mr. Mike Schilling.
Has it stopped? Sounds like a fun idea. The book idea. Yeah. The licking.
The licking.
Oh, that would be something. Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks like something like from The Purge. You know, I don't know if you've ever seen that. I saw it one time because I was curious.
I'm just saying. I mean, I got to go back to this photo.
Yeah.
He's not just licking that phone.
No, he's having a relationship
British,
with it.
That's a full-on snog right there.
Yeah, that's right. Yes. Yeah, apparently he didn't care much about social distancing there. Well, I mean, with the intercom, I guess.
Well,
but,
I mean, yeah.
It could be social distancing.
When you can't get to your girlfriend,
yeah,
you kiss her intercom.
Yeah, make sure to say intercom.
When you can't kiss in real life, kiss her intercom. I don't know what that means.
I don't know.
That sounds dirty.
That's nasty.
Yes. So, WandaVision.
Yes. Yeah, it looks really good, and we've got to cover tonight. I know you've got more backstory.
Shall we put the video out real quick?
Yeah, go ahead and do that.
There we go. Spoiler alert. There is your spoiler alert. I'm sure we're going to say things that are accurate and wrong.
Like every other show.
Both, pretty much.
We're very consistent on that. So, so I know you've got some backstory as far as the characters go. I have some backstory on the relationships. So before we get to the trailer, I think for some people, we might kind of give a little bit of history lesson on this.
Sure.
How do you want to do this? You want me to go through the relationships first, or do you want me to go through the trailer? What's the best way?
Let's just throw this out there. I mean, we're talking about the WandaVision television show, and it's coming out on Disney Plus. I'm super excited about it. Ooh, Wanda. Exactly. So let me do just a quick backstory of who these characters are as far as the comics go.
Yeah,
and kind of give you a little bit different. It might give you a little bit different taste than, say, what the MCU has.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming most everybody has watched the MCU movies. You know who Wanda is. We sometimes call her the Scarlet Witch. The comic books make that more prominent than the movies do. And then Vision actually gets a name in the movies.
Exactly.
But they're an interesting couple. When they start out, like in the comic books at first, they weren't a couple. Wanda actually came first, and so Scarlet Witch was actually an X-Men number 4. So we're talking 1964. This character's been around. Yeah. So way before there was any relationship.
Yeah.
And she was a supervillain to start off with. She was part of the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants with Magneto. And initially, we talked about this character. I don't know if you knew this. We talked about this character many moons ago in some stupid superheroes and their names. It was originally assumed that she and Quicksilver were the son and daughter of the Wizard.
Are you serious?
Do you remember the Wizard?
Yes, I do. Yeah. Yeah, it was like a poor man's Flash. It was like a
yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So originally it was assumed that they were the children of the Wizard.
Yeah.
Then later in the 80s, it was changed to they were mutants and they were the children of Magneto. But then in 2010, they retconned that whole thing and made them. They actually became a experiment of the High Evolutionary, which made them not mutants anymore, which made them available for the movies.
I see.
Because if they were still mutants, they would be part of the X-Men and would only be able to be on Fox movies.
Sneaky.
It's super sneaky.
Sneaky.
Super sneaky. But she joins the Avengers in Avengers number 16.
Yeah.
Which is weird because if you've read any of the early Avengers, like the first 15 issues are kind of weird when they're starting. We're going to talk about House of M. We're going to get there. So the first 15 issues are a little weird on the Avengers.
Yeah.
And then a bunch of the Avengers decide they want to quit.
Yeah.
And they got to refill. They got to refill the roster. So they refill with people like Hawkeye and Quicksilver and Wanda, Scarlet Witch, who were all villains originally. So the Avengers eventually, by issue 16 of the Avengers, they're all villains that have become the Avengers.
Exactly.
So
yeah.
So then we have Vision. Now his backstory is a little bit different, and this is where it gets a little different than the MCU movies. In the MCU movies, he's created by combining a body that Ultron was building with the brain of Jarvis.
Yeah.
So Vision was kind of made by Tony Stark.
Yeah.
Well, in the comics, it's a little bit different. Vision is created by Ultron alone from possibly, and this is where it gets weird because all these things, they retcon all these things at some point. Possibly he's the brain of cred. The Wonder Man, who was a bad guy at first. And then he was the body of the original Human Torch, which was an android.
Yeah.
So that's this whole weird convolution, and he's all made by Ultron, and he's originally a bad guy. And once again, joins the Avengers.
That's the funny thing about some of the older Marvel. Like I said, I hadn't been a Marvel person. I've gone back to try to read some of the synopsis and read some of the stuff. And man, you're right. I mean, things change. They switch quickly.
Yes.
I mean, you start going, there's some moral issues with the Avengers. Later on, we'll talk about where they do some things where you're going, really?
Yeah.
That's not what the Avengers are about.
Yeah.
But, the comic series takes it in that direction. But anyhow.
Yeah. So that's kind of their backstory in the comics. In the movies, it's a little bit different. We still have them as bad guys at first.
Yeah.
Kind of. Vision's not quite a bad guy ever, but he's made by a bad guy, so he could have been. Wanda was kind of a bad guy, but for such a short time. Basically, one movie, she goes from being a bad guy to being a hero.
Yeah.
So her story arc is a whole lot shorter to get her to heroic status in the MCU. But that's kind of where that lies. Now we've got some backstory for the relationship. So why don't you throw in on that?
Yeah, go ahead with the first one. Yeah, of course. Apparently, Wanda and Vision began their relationship in 1970 in the pages of the Avengers. A mutant, and an android who fell in love, of course.
Yeah,
I think So. I think also the two fell in love and were married in 1975's Giant Size Avenger number 4.
And there's some female power for you. She asked him in 1975. A woman asked a man to marry him.
But that was a big WOW movement back then, a big women's movement back then too.
Yeah, there really was.
So,
and Marvel always did things like that.
Yeah. But no, the pair was an unlikely. Yeah. Anyway, they would go to star in their own miniseries, Vision and Scarlet Witch in 1982, and continued their adventure together as part of the West Coast Avengers.
Yes, when we've talked about the West Coast Avengers, and the Great Lakes Avengers.
Yeah, let's Great Lakes Avengers. I don't even know what to think about that. Was that with the squirrel?
Yes, that's Squirrel Girl and
Squirrel
Flat
Girl.
Man.
Yeah, that's funny.
Wasn't he a droid? He's an android, or in the comics, they called him a synthezoid, which is not exactly... We don't exactly know what that is.
Yeah.
But these are not the droids you're looking for.
No,
sure.
they're not. No.
So what do we have here?
Well, also too, I guess eventually they, eventually because through Wanda's magic, they had kids. So I think that was interesting. Basically, the couple eventually had twin sons, thanks to a bit of magic from Wanda. But in time, it would be revealed that tragically, the energy that Wanda had used eventually came from a demon called, and you might know this
Mephisto.
Mephisto, yeah.
Yes.
And then the energy was taken back. They disappeared from reality, which is
and
interesting because some of this stuff kind of has some feeling with the new WandaVision trailer.
Right. And there's some big, like, you mentioned the Vision and Wanda, the Vision and Scarlet Witch miniseries, which is kind of them getting married and trying to live a normal life. Yeah, which kind of looks like what the WandaVision trailer might be, but then it gets weird. Yeah. And so let's move on from that because let's talk more when we get to the trailer.
Yeah. So. Let's see.
What else do we have on the relationship?
Yeah. So, and the other problems, they said Vision, he was dismantled and destroyed by an international network of spies and scientists who deemed him a threat. His memories and personality were obliterated as well. Although Hank Pym, Pym, yes, Pym.
Hank Pym. That's the first in the comics. That's the original Ant-Man. In the MCU, that's the guy that invented the Pym particles that allows the current Ant-Man to do what he does.
Oh, okay. Well, that's okay. That makes sense then.
Yeah. There's an Easter egg in the Ant-Man movie. Is it an Ant-Man movie? It might be it's an Easter egg in the final Avengers movie. They pan across Dr. Pym's his lab, and you see this big metal helmet with this weird thing that reaches around the front, and it's a replica of what the comic version of Ant-Man's headgear would have looked like.
I follow it now. Yeah. So,
which is that's another thing. In the MCU, we kind of skip over who Dr. Pym is. In the comics, Dr. Pym actually made Ultron instead of it being Tony's fault.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, apparently he reassembled him, kind of a white-hued Vision. Was kind of a new entity, had no emotions, apparently,
which is kind of interesting. The white thing, I read this originally. They had originally wanted him to be white in the comic books. Really? But they weren't able to do it in the probably the 60s is when Vision, no, probably the early 70s. At the time, they wouldn't print white.
Oh, okay.
It would just leave. It would just.
Well, that's
be
what I was
blank
thinking.
Paper.
Yeah, exactly.
They would just leave it as blank paper, and they didn't want to make him. They didn't want to make him green like the Hulk, and they didn't want to make him blue like the Atlanteans. I did not. I was confused when Ant-Man came out, but they did it. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, if you're a huge comics fan, the timeline and the stories all get jacked up when you look at the MCU. You just about have to treat them as two separate things.
Yeah, it's kind of they take a buffet out of a little bit. As we're talking right now, you can kind of imagine some of the stuff that they're bringing over to WandaVision. But
but anyway, they didn't want to make him blue. They didn't want to make him green, and that's why he's red.
Okay.
They wanted him to be white. They wanted him to be ghostly, a Vision, but they couldn't do white because of the technology.
Well, apparently because of this, I guess Wanda and Vision, they moved apart physically and emotionally as time went on. Apparently, I guess the shock of what she lost, basically she kind of, I don't know, kind of fell apart. And this is where the House of M storyline comes up.
Yep.
Using her powers, she alternated reality. So mutants were the dominant force on Earth.
Yes.
And
she
humans,
had her children again.
Yes. Yes. And I think, yeah, well, I'll get to that in a little bit. I keep wanting to get ahead. And then meanwhile, I know. And then meanwhile, and I guess Vision would go on to recover his original appearance and his emotion and memories. I guess there was the award-winning 2016 limited series, The Vision by Tom King.
Right. Yeah, this is a little bit. I'm not sure that this one's truly canon.
Yeah.
It may be a little bit out of canon, but yes, it's the idea.
Basically, he was
Vision
just
trying to live a normal life, but everybody else is an android too. Hey, Terrence. You missed our Tiger King update, Terrence.
Yes. in our well-oiled machine beginning, like we always do. My goodness.
Yes, exactly.
But yeah, so and then I guess this is interesting. This said he was a liaison for the Avengers at the White House. I guess Vision decided to move. Yeah, and that's based off of this book, based off of this series.
Oh, yeah.
He moved to the suburbs in Washington, D.C. with his new family, with Virginia, his daughter, his son. And he tries to become this, this family and try to live a normal life, but all that kind of falls apart, and then later,
does.
the memory of his life with Wanda also played into the Vision limited series. So I guess it was a little bit in there, but that's pretty much kind of the history there. Maybe it kind of gives you a little bit of a backstory when we start getting into the actual breakdown of the trailer.
So even in the comics, they actually had a relationship. In the comics, they had an actual wedding. Yeah. Which we don't really get that in the MCU. Of course, they were always on the run. Yeah. They were hiding the whole time. Yeah. So
let's go ahead and get into the trailer.
Okay.
I know I had something else there.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah, that was part of the the other one. Yeah.
Okay.
I thought we would do a break, but I kind of like to get doing the stay on focus on the.
So let's go on. If you have not seen the trailer yet, you definitely need to watch the trailer. It is amazing.
Yeah, it's really good.
So was Vision always Jarvis? In the comics, he was never Jarvis. In the movies, he's always been Jarvis, which I thought was interesting. You don't call him Jarvis, you call him Vision. So let's talk about this trailer. We're going to kind of break this down quite a bit.
Yeah, exactly.
There's some things that both of us are going to kind of throw in here.
Yeah.
It is Marvel Studios. It is coming to Disney Plus.
Man, there's a lot of stuff.
Do we have a release date yet? I don't know that we do.
I think it's going to be December 2020. That's what it said on the actual trailer itself. It didn't give a specific date.
Okay. December 2020 is what I'm seeing.
Yeah, that's
not a specific date.
Yeah, nothing.
And it's fascinating that Falcon and Winter Soldier got pushed back. Yeah. It was supposed to already be out.
I think it has a lot to do with this series. It's almost like the same thing with the Black Widow. It seems like they have to have this certain movie to as a launching pad for these other series. So if these other series are done, yeah, exactly.
If they don't do it,
it's not going to make any sense.
They spoil something else.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
so
it's very likely that they're making it so tied together. Christmas is going to be awesome. Absolutely.
Yes, it will. Great stuff.
So let's start. So in the trailer, we start with they're married. They're just married, and apparently it's the 50s.
Yeah, which is interesting. Yes, because if you've seen the trailer, it takes on these different type of comedy sitcoms that we're used to in the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. Yeah, 1950s life. So, and what's interesting in here, you see that, Vision still has.
Yep, he has the Mind Stone.
Mind Stone, which we all know. Okay, spoiler alert! If you haven't seen, Infinity, then
we all know he basically died. He turned gray
Yes.
and the Mind Stone was taken from him.
Yes.
But so there's big questions as to is he there or not?
Exactly.
And I think we'll probably get into that as we go through this.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we may have to jump around a little bit.
Oh, that's fine too. Yeah. That's
Wanda,
fine too.
Wanda is still a witch. Which, this is interesting. This is definitely set up like Dick Van Dyke.
It has like a
But it feels more like Bewitched.
Yes, exactly.
But
Yeah,
it
that's
looks
exactly
more like Dick Van Dyke.
It does. It does. It does. It's interesting because I think it was one part where she. Well, we'll get to that in a minute. But yeah, well, one thing they, when they come into town, it's Westview, and that's the name of the town.
Westview is the name of the town, and there's, is that a real town or not? I think it is. I think there is a Westview, or was a Westview.
Yeah.
Because there's a scene later in the trailer where it looks like the same exact sign that says Westview. Can you see it in the... Yeah. Just in the corner, there's a sign over here in the very right that says Westview. Later on, there's another sign that appears to be in reality, in real time, and it looks like it says Westview as well. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
I do. Yeah.
Whether it's really there or used to be there is interesting. Yes, also a I Love Lucy vibe. It kind of has all of them.
Has this?
The Bewitched thing, I think, I get the Bewitched feel because she is a witch. She's doing the kind of things, and even some of the shots. Some of the shots they do, some of the magic they make her do is very Bewitched style magic stuff.
Yeah. They had a
nuclear test site.
Who knows?
I don't know.
But see, this next one, I guess, was another Easter egg. This is talks about little baby June's first word is Tickle's mother. Yeah. And I guess
that's the Westview Herald. So that's another reason we know it's Westview as the name of the town.
And this kind of there's some kind of correlation with it that has to do with her having children, but I haven't put the two together.
Well, probably just a kind of an allusion to the fact that there's going to be children.
This next one, it's kind of cool, and this is where she does the whole Bewitched thing, where she basically is telling I want to live like normal people, so we need to look like normal people. So she does her hocus pocus, and this is really funny. This is where you get to see the actual actor.
Yes.
Which he's a great actor.
He is.
And I love his voice. It's just,
Yeah.
But yeah, so apparently, now this is, no, you're fine.
Okay.
And this is Kathryn Hahn.
Yes. And there is a lot of conjecture on exactly what her part is.
Exactly. She was on SNL, if you know. And what's funny, there's a lot of people from the old SNL that are getting to superhero movies. Think about that. A lady who plays in the DC Wonder Woman 1984, 1985, and Christine Wiggins. Christine, so she was an SNL alumni also. But anyway, that's cool. Just a side note there.
So this character, according to IMDb, this character's name is Agnes.
Agnes, yes. And she kind of plays that nosy neighbor across the street, like Kravitz and Bewitched.
Yep. Now, the conjecture is that she's actually playing a character named Agatha Harkness.
Which wasn't she supposed to be like the mentor?
Yeah, in the comics. Now, let's go back to the comics. We don't know exactly what she's doing in this show yet. Yeah. We're not even entirely convinced that this is accurate, that she's going to be Agnes Harkness, but everybody's saying that she is.
Well, I mean, yeah.
I haven't found anybody who said anything else.
Yeah.
So in the comic books, she was a mentor to Wanda. She taught her a lot about magic. She was the governess of...
Wow.
Really? I did not find that when I was looking it up.
That is interesting.
I will have to check that out afterwards. that it was a nuclear protocol. I'll have to check that out because
That's cool.
I looked up Westview and I didn't find
Yeah.
anything. So in the comics, she's originally the governess of Franklin Richards, meaning the Fantastic Four's son, the son of Reed Richards.
Yeah.
And then she's also Wanda's mentor in magic. She's a magician. She's a wizard, or whatever. She's a witch in the comics. She has several different things. She died once, and then she wasn't dead, and then she was dead for a long time.
That's your comics right there,
So
buddy.
she was probably an apparition this whole time.
Yes.
She's been in the
I've seen her at the 7-Eleven. So yeah.
in the Ultimates reboot, Marvel reboot, she was young instead of old.
Yeah.
Because in the original comics, she's an old lady, like really old. She actually was born during the Salem witch trials and was a witch at that time, but survived and lives today. So then there's the question of, is she really alive even today?
Yeah.
Was she always a apparition that helped all these people out? So that's the conjecture, that she is this person, or that she is supposed to be this person.
Yeah. Well, the next one here is interesting. They have the wine bottle that kind of floats,
Yes.
which I think is interesting because they're entertaining company.
Yes.
And this is, of course, this refers to...
My guess is she's pouring this before they get there.
I would hope so, yes. I would think so, yeah, because they're trying to hide that she is a witch.
Yep.
But anyway, in this shot, apparently it's a bottle of Maison du Papri wine, which my wife can probably say it better than me. She's a wine foodie. And which seems very romantic. But yeah, so anyway...
The House of Mépris.
Yeah, basically, mépris is French for contempt. Contempt. A clear indication that isn't right. So, yeah.
Yeah. And then it's the House of Maison de. So we have now the House of M, which is what somebody mentioned earlier. Are we going to talk about the House of M? And I don't think we should talk about the House of M quite yet.
No, there's a lot there, and maybe we might have to do it later. But
yeah,
I mean, there's a lot of backstory. When I started doing research, I'm thinking
the House of M is so convoluted and weird.
Yes,
but it does have to do with this story in some way, shape, or fashion.
Funny, they have I think it's Deborah Jo Rubb. She played the main character as Kitty Foreman in Fox, that 70s show.
That 70s show did a great job.
So,
she's a great actress.
And she fits really well in this type of role. Yeah,
she does. And they don't know how to answer the questions.
Yeah, they get this rapid fire questions about, where you're from, are you going to have children? And then I guess Wanda, in the middle of just things are normal, suddenly she gets interrupted by Vision because he's acting like he knows the story. And then all suddenly he realizes that
there is no story.
There is no story. And I think that's when he starts trying to figure out, I believe that's when he starts figuring out what's going on.
Okay. And you said something interesting. When he starts figuring out what's going on, and this is a big conjecture, that if this is all in Wanda's mind, is he real?
Exactly.
Is he real at all? But throughout the trailer, there are spots where things are very obviously from his point of view.
Exactly. Happening
to him and by him without Wanda. So is he there? Is he real?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not sure how this works. This gets super, super weird.
Yeah, it does. And then basically, I guess he starts yelling, "Are you going to have, why don't you know? Why don't you know?" And it gets really weird. And, and then, and of course, the lady Kitty, not Kitty, but anyway, she's yelling at her husband, to stop. It was almost like they had this, quaint 1950s sitcom, and then all of a sudden all suddenly there's this a record scratch, and right then, something is going on.
Yeah. It's the idyllic, Leave It to Beaver, Joan Cleaver life is what she was trying for.
Yeah.
And it's not working out
No.
quite right. So then we start losing the connection.
Yeah. And and you start seeing that she's trying, it's almost like she's trying to do a reboot
Yep.
each time, like we're going to, like the 1950s. And I think,
Yeah,
I guess,
I was trying to figure out. There's kind of okay, so I mentioned Dick Van Dyke, but it looks like Dick Van Dyke, but it feels like Bewitched.
yeah.
There's one that seems really Brady Bunch-ish.
Yeah, there's one that has almost kind of a 1980s Family Ties.
Family
kind of
Ties,
Yes.
and that one's kind of interesting. It's like, is it Family Ties, or is it slightly newer and it's almost Roseanne and Full House? It's somewhere in there though.
Yeah. It's
Which is this one right here.
Yeah, and this is the one I was kind of almost like an 80s sitcom. It's kind of reminiscent of Full House in a way.
And we have the twins.
Exactly. So there you go.
And now we have, how did an android have kids?
Exactly.
And we're not going to go into Blade Runner and whether or not androids can have babies. That's that's a whole nother story.
Yeah, that's something when we talk about Japan. That's a different totally story.
But there is a big question,
Yeah.
So where are these kids? But now, do you want to talk about the kids real quick?
Yeah, let's
just
go
to
ahead.
mention
Let's
them.
do that. Yeah, let's go ahead.
So there's another spot. I don't know if this is in here. There's a shot of the refrigerator, and you can actually see two pictures, two big letters on the refrigerator. One's a T and one's a B. And the names of the twins are Thomas and William, or Billy.
Yeah.
So we've got their names. Later on in the comics, they become a big part of the Young Avengers.
Okay.
Wiccan
that's right.
and Speed,
Yeah.
which Wiccan and Speed, which I think is funny because they're kind of Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver
Exactly.
analogs.
Yeah,
But they're
exactly.
both boys instead of
Yeah.
one being a girl.
Yeah.
And we're already building up some other characters that could be Young Avengers.
Yeah, exactly.
Because we've got, there's the theory of we've got the kid that Iron Man met when he was really young.
Yeah, exactly.
Could he be a young Iron Man later?
Yeah.
Iron Lad, I think is what the comics
we got
call
some
him.
of this going on here too, a little bit later.
And then we've got the Hawkeye show.
Exactly.
With his with the person he's going to be training, who's
Yeah.
also part of the Young Avengers. So they could have a Young Avengers spinoff at some point.
Yeah.
If they carry through with the children idea.
Dragon Ball Z set the standards. Dragon Ball Z did it. Yeah. So there you go, and there she is.
And then
again.
we've got the neighbor, and the neighbor keeps coming back.
Yeah, that's what I find interesting. It's almost like she's a staple there.
Yeah.
And it makes you wonder, okay,
Is she real, or is she part of the... And if she's real, that means she knows what's going on.
that's, yeah.
Or does she?
I don't know.
Well, I say she does because of the next 3 or 4 segments we're going to get to.
Yeah.
So this is the Halloween scene.
And this is kind of where he becomes self-aware that things are not, from my understanding, quite right. Yeah.
Well, and this is, if you looked really close at this scene, I don't know how much you read about the scene. Those kids are not moving. He's levitating. There's only one house. There's no other houses. The light pole is flashing. And the kids are not moving. He is the only one moving in that shot.
Well, that's interesting because on the next, then he comes in. I forget her name again.
But now he can see a whole town here.
Yeah.
But here we only have the one house. So that's kind of weird.
What's interesting is the next one where Hahn's character, she's in the car and it's almost like she's still like everybody else. And he reaches in, and when he touches her, she kind of comes alive.
Yeah.
And
Lom asks,
Lamon.
asks, how does this differ from the surreal stuff in Legion? That's a great question, and I don't know that we know yet, because that was kind of a Fox thing.
Yeah, exactly.
So it may not line up at all, but there's definitely some I created my own world kind of thing happening in Legion and in the Scarlet Witch, or WandaVision. Sorry.
No, that's
So
okay.
we have this where Vision touches the side of her head, and now this goes back to, is she really Agatha Harkness, who is a witch? Because it's Halloween and she is dressed up as a witch.
Exactly. Yeah, it's interesting, and it's almost like he awoken her from this trance.
Yeah.
And the first reaction from her character is, I am dead.
Am I dead?
And then he asks her, what did you say? Because, and basically, she comes back and said, you are dead.
Yeah.
And that was and then she starts laughing. And that cackle
Because
is where you kind of going, okay, there's something more to it with her.
Yes.
There's has to be.
Now this is the big deal where I go, she says, because you're dead, to Vision.
Yeah.
Well, if he's dead, then he's just a figment of Wanda's imagination. So how does he have real experiences outside of her?
Well, yeah. And then,
It is super convoluted.
Yeah,
so
it is.
The basic premise here is she is creating this world, and it is changing around her as the whims will, which throws us back to House of M.
Yeah.
The idea that Wanda got into such a state. Now, in the House of M, it's because she lost her children, and then someone made her forget her children, and then she remembered her children, and she went nuts.
Exactly.
And then when she went nuts, she just decided she would just make the world the way she wanted to, and she made all the mutants in charge. And then once it started out with Wolverine realizing that something was wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
And then once they decided there's only one solution, we have to kill Wanda, and she figured that out, she just decided to wipe out all of the mutants.
Well, the next one is kind of funny. This is kind of a throwback.
I love this.
Yeah, I mean, I love this throwback.
Do we have the shot of Wanda's costume?
No, we don't.
We don't.
That's not in there.
Yeah,
but
the classic costume for Wanda and the classic costume for Vision on Halloween is perfect. It's brilliant. I love that.
The next one gets really interesting. The whole fabric of reality thing. Now, this is
and this person is Monica Rambeau.
If you remember,
back through.
If you remember, she in the MCU universe in the Captain Marvel.
Yeah,
she played the little girl.
Yes,
and this
is you understand the backstory there in the comics.
In the comics, I don't.
Okay, so Monica Rambeau in the comics, she is another Captain Marvel.
Oh, okay.
She takes the mantle, the name. In name only, it's a different power source. She can turn into light energy. It's different.
Okay.
But she takes the mantle of Captain Marvel at first. Later, she becomes Photon, Pulsar, and Spectrum. Yeah. She uses all four of these names. But she, at one point in the comics, she is called Captain Marvel. But that's who this character is. So, at some point, will she get superpowers and be able to be, do something more than whatever she was doing here? And what did she do wrong that Wanda, and we assume Wanda, threw her out of Wanda's little world and pitched her back to whatever this is?
Well, you see her in her outfit, it's almost like she's in one of the 1960s or 70s, maybe sitcom. If you see that
she was dressed up for it. Now, there's some conjecture that this is a reference to Sword.
Yes, and that was something that we may have to go back to next week. But this relates to, remember, Darcy from the second Thor. I mean, and and apparently, at least from the reference of before, she's actually an administrator within Sword, and Sword has kind of stepped into the vacuum of S.H.I.E.L.D., and Sword is not. Let's just say they don't. Let's say that they don't mind doing whatever it takes to protect the Earth.
Right, and this is where it gets a little weird. In the comics, Sword is kind of the space shield.
Exactly.
But then there was another group called Hammer.
Yeah, exactly.
In the comics, which was kind of bad guys taking the place of S.H.I.E.L.D. So I think they're kind of mixing those two ideas.
The world of the Justice Alliance or something. Yeah.
When we're talking earlier, we talked a little bit about the Young Avengers. Totally possible they could spin off a Young Avengers if they keep the kids and they do some of these other things.
You think they do that as a TV series? I would think so.
Probably, if they do it. If they even do it. I think it'll be a TV show.
Exactly.
There was one other thing I wanted to mention. There's another character we didn't run into in this. I'm pretty sure he's in the trailer just really quick. James Woo. Are you familiar
James
with that
Woo.
character?
And I've got that in a different article.
Yeah.
A different story because James Woo.
I'm pretty sure he's in the trailer for just a second.
Yeah.
There's just a really quick shot. In the MCU, he was part of the FBI.
He was FBI with Ant-Man trying to,
He was Ant-Man's parole officer.
Which he was great in it.
So there's an interesting idea. Yeah. If he's the parole officer in Ant-Man, has Wanda kind of been taken, hey Wanda, we know you're going crazy, so we're going to take care of you.
Yeah.
You're not really arrested or on patrol or on parole, but you're totally arrested and on parole. And he's in charge of her.
I have an observation real quick. We go back to the helicopter in the spotlight.
Yep.
Now, this is the other thing too that reminds me of S.H.I.E.L.D. Remember when Thor first came in and they had the whole thing enclosed.
Yep.
First reaction. But sometimes I wonder too how much is Sword behind this, where maybe if her name is not Rambo, when the lady who was thrown out,
Monica Rambeau.
Rambo. Okay.
Rambo.
Sure.
It's pronounced Rambo like Rambo, but it's spelled different than.
Okay, that's wanted to make sure.
It's spelled different than Rambo First Blood.
But it almost seems like that Sword has her in there as an agent watching over everything. And that makes me wonder how much is Sword involved in this, where maybe, there's a dome. Maybe they have something set up where it's almost like the Truman Show. You know, that whole sense.
So the big question comes down to this. Are they protecting us? Are they protecting the world from Wanda? Are they containing Wanda? Or are they containing Wanda to protect her? Or are they protecting the rest of the world from her?
I think it's the latter.
I think it's the latter. And I think that's where the House of M idea comes from.
Yeah.
She is so dangerous and so powerful. Actually, there's a storyline in the comics about her. Let's see. I don't remember if I wrote this down or not. I don't think I wrote this down, but I read about it. There's a storyline in the comics that there was somebody working a plan to get Wanda and Vision together so that Wanda would never have children because he's an android.
Yeah.
Because this person knew if Wanda ever had children, they would be so powerful, they would be very dangerous.
Yeah.
I don't remember the exact storyline, and I don't remember the big bad that was doing all that. But like the story goes back that he had arranged the whole time for Vision and Wanda to get together.
Yeah, kind of add some more things here where it talks about Darcy Fitt she plays from the Thor's character, she plays into
right.
Sword, and just Sword is kind of, they've got this they fill the vacuum now because Shield
Right.
is gone, and she's working with that organization. Now they said the Sentient World Observation and Response Department is what SWORD stands for.
Right.
And they said SWORD deals with the matters of international diplomacy, frequently involved in missions and incidents that threatens continued existence of the entire planet, which you were saying earlier, their role was more of a space shield.
Right.
More than anything else.
And Vance just threw something out.
Yeah.
The idea of AIM, which is Advanced Idea Mechanics.
Yeah.
And that's a whole different group of criminals.
Yeah, exactly.
But I'm doubtful that it's going to be AIM. My guess is these guys are not the bad guys.
Yeah.
I don't think they will be the bad guys. I think they will be kind of jerks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think there will be a big bad, and I'm not sure who it's going to be. They could turn Harkness into the big bad.
Well, it's funny. There was a comment in here under this particular article I took notes from. They were saying when the field, Monica Rambeau appears to be in the field, she's a field operative, but in the trailer it shows her blasted out a Scarlet Witch reality bubble, and they said her eyes then flared with power. And
is this where she's going to get her powers?
To be
Spectrum or Captain Marvel or Pulsar, whatever we're going to call her. I'm assuming we're not going to call her Captain Marvel because the Marvel Captain Marvel I think she still has some movies under her contract.
From my understanding, yeah.
Yeah. So my guess is she will be something else.
Yeah. So that's pretty much, it was interesting how it's all coming together like that. So,
Jason, I don't think that was it AIM in Iron Man 3. I think that was, now I know they did the 10 rings in Iron Man 3 because that's the Mandarin 10 rings thing. I don't know if they threw AIM in there. I don't remember. They might have kind of mixed the two ideas. But I don't think this is AIM. I think this is, like you were saying, I think it's going to be Sword or Hammer or some convoluted version of the two where they're not the bad guy, but they are going to come across as not great folks.
Yeah.
Like they're protecting the world in a way that's probably not the best plan.
Exactly, yeah.
And the other idea is, is Wanda protecting the world from herself in her little bubble?
Yeah,
and
there's so many,
and they're just keeping
so
an
many
eye
angles.
on it.
Yeah, there's so many angles involved in it. It's hard to know. Yeah,
so many possibilities. Well, why don't we throw a quick comment? Oh, go ahead.
No, I was thinking about Nick Fury coming in. Is that where we're going? Okay.
Yep, that was exactly where I was going.
We all know this, but I'm so excited that
yes.
he is. I love Samuel L. Jackson. I think this is going to be awesome, and we're going to talk more about this in detail next week. We're going to focus around Captain Fury. Colonel Fury, I guess, in right now for Samuel L. Jackson. But there's so much that can happen from this character.
Yes.
Now, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen Spider-Man, Far From Home, this is kind of, I think, where it's going to set him up, because the last time we saw him, he was deep in space.
Yeah.
And so how that's
going to... You think that'll be that? You think this will be a Skrull, Kree, Nick Fury, Captain Marvel-y kind of TV show?
I don't know. I think you could see some of the Captain Marvel characters coming back.
Yeah.
I think we can talk more about that next week. But I do think a lot of characters, more of I would call them the minor characters that we've seen from the movies, can find their way in cameos or as characters going through the series with Nick Fury. So I think that's going to open up a whole new world, kind of like with Agent of Shield, the TV show. So
next week we're going to talk Nick Fury, and we'll probably give a quick comics rundown of Nick Fury. How many seasons will there be?
I don't know. I don't know.
I don't even know. Like WandaVision, I'm not positive how many episodes there are, but according to IMDb only had David Hasselhoff. No, we will talk about that though. We have to bring it up.
Yes,
I know we have to bring it up.
Oh
my gosh. Oh, I forgot that even was a thing.
Yes.
I tried to put that out of my memory. That's almost as... I'm not saying the M word. That's almost as bad as the M word for Star Wars.
Yes, let's not go there, please.
But I don't even remember what I was saying now. That threw me off so badly.
Thanks a lot.
I don't know what I was saying.
Oh, the seasons we were talking about.
Seasons.
Yes, how many seasons?
Right now, on IMDb, WandaVision lists 6 episodes, and that's it.
Yeah, and I can see that because it is such a...
That's a super short, though.
Yeah, but it's kind of a lot of miniseries of some kind. But
is it going to be... Is it even going to have a second season?
Yeah, unless it's setting it up for another series.
Yeah.
You know, like we've talked about, setting it up for something totally different.
Right.
And
I don't know.
And that could be. I don't know.
See, Falcon and Winter Soldier, I can see that one easily being multiple seasons.
Yeah, I see that happening. Hawkeye, I can see that too.
Yeah.
Even Fury, Loki.
Yeah, Nick Fury could be.
I hope so. It is because Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. kind of that caveat there.
Lom said there's 4. Lamon said there's 4 seasons. 4. Was that a comment on winter, spring, summer, fall? Lamon, 4 seasons. Was that a joke? Are you trolling us?
Oh man!
I think Lamon is trolling us right now.
There you go.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
He'll be here all week.
That's right.
But honestly, I have not, outside of Mandalorian, I don't know that any of the Disney Plus things have multiple series. That anything we've talked about, I don't know that any of them have more than one season.
Oh my goodness! There you go.
Yes,
there we go.
Lamon is trolling us. Thanks, Lamon. And just to clarify, Todd, it's a hotel. It's not a restaurant. The 4 Seasons is a hotel. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay.
This has been a fascinating show.
It has been.
It started as a train wreck, but I think we pulled it off.
I think so. I think we did some tapping Dan's show. I think we've got things going just fine.
Hey, if you're watching us for the first time, thanks so much for watching. We really appreciate you. If you've been watching us for a long time, we're so sorry.
Basically, you're a glutton for punishment, and you came to the right place. So, man. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, no problem. So next week we're gonna talk
about Nick Fury. We're gonna do a little backstory there, and how this whole thing with Samuel L. Jackson with the Disney series.
We're gonna have to talk about how he went from a white guy to a black guy.
Yeah, that's magic.
I know.
That's.
Do you believe in magic?
But I tell you what, I'm happy they did because Samuel L. Jackson.
He's the man.
He's the man. He's the man.
Yes. He's a.
From a tough brother Jedi to. Oh, I love that one. Yeah.
He needs to be the next moderator for the presidential debates.
Yeah, he
said 2 minutes.
Exactly. He keep things in order.
Oh my goodness. That's as political as we get right there.
Yeah,
That
that's
was
it. We don't do anything else. That's all we want. Nothing else.
Man, great show tonight.
It's good. Thank you for everybody. Man, I appreciate it.
Oh, quick pitch. Just if you're joining us for the first time, like I said, definitely follow us on Facebook at SAS Nerds. Join our group. It's facebook.com/groups/SAS Nerds with an S at the end. And on YouTube and on Twitch. Something about something.
I think you did it.
You can watch some of our old episodes and find out how much better we are now.
Exactly.
Medea would make a great moderator. Good call, Todd.
Yeah, exactly. Medea, that would be awesome.
Medea. Yeah.
Thank you, Rob.
Yeah.
Man,
Appreciate
great
it,
show.
Rob.
Again, next week on Wednesday, 7 p.m. Central
Yep.
and 8 p.m. Eastern Time. We're going to have Nick Fury, and we're going to make some predictions. So we're going to some more stupid news, and we might
just a quick pitch. The Wednesday before Halloween, we're gonna do Halloween special.
Yes.
I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
We've never had one, so
yeah,
we don't know what that means.
We might have candy, so
we might
show up with your costumes. It'd be kind of pitiful if you did that. But do it anyhow. Just watch us with a costume on, and then give yourself a Snickers bar like we're giving it to you. Get yourself a full-size one because you're worth it.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Let's call it a day, man.
Let's do it.
This has been the Something About Something podcast with your host, Mr. Mike Schilling.
And my good friend, Mr. Ricky Pope from a different dimension that I can't hear the music. Woo!
Maybe next week things will work.
You know what? It's okay. It was a great show anyhow, and,
Wasn't a total disaster.
No, it wasn't. Not like it normally